From the deepest corners of our planet to the vast expanse of space above us, our world holds secrets that defy explanation and challenge everything we thought we knew about reality itself. Each mystery we encounter forces us to question the boundaries of science, history, and human understanding. These are not simple puzzles with straightforward answers, but profound enigmas that have captivated researchers, scientists, and curious minds for decades or even centuries. Join us as we delve into some of the most perplexing unsolved mysteries that continue to baffle experts around the globe. So fasten your seatbelt as we dive into today's mystery. But first, you'll have incredible luck if you like and subscribe before this video ends. The Taos hum, a sound that drives people to madness. In the small desert town of Taos, New Mexico, something extraordinary and deeply unsettling has been occurring for more than 3 decades. Residents and visitors alike report hearing a persistent low-frequency humming noise that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. This phenomenon, known as the Taos hum, affects roughly 2% of the population in the area. But for those who hear it, the experience can be absolutely torturous. People describe the sound as resembling a distant diesel engine idling, a refrigerator running in another room, or the low rumble of heavy machinery operating somewhere just out of sight. The hum is most noticeable during quiet moments, particularly at night when other sounds fade away. What makes this mystery especially perplexing is that sensitive recording equipment placed throughout the area fails to detect any unusual acoustic activity. The sound exists only for those who can hear it, creating an invisible divide between the affected and the unaffected. The psychological impact on those who experience the Taos hum cannot be understated. Many report difficulty sleeping, increased stress levels, and in some extreme cases, thoughts of leaving their homes permanently to escape the relentless noise. Some have described feeling as though they are slowly losing their sanity, unable to find relief from a sound that others cannot even perceive. The mystery deepens when you consider that similar phenomena have been reported in other locations around the world. From Bristol in England to Bondi in Australia, suggesting that whatever causes the Taos hum might be part of a larger, unexplained global phenomenon. Scientists have proposed numerous theories to explain the hum. Some believe it could be related to tinnitus, a condition that causes ringing or buzzing in the ears. Others suggest it might be connected to very low-frequency radio waves or electromagnetic fields generated by military installations or industrial equipment. There are theories about seismic activity, atmospheric conditions, and even psychological factors that could contribute to the phenomenon. Despite extensive research and investigation by teams of scientists, acoustics experts, and government agencies, no definitive explanation has emerged. The wow signal, a message from the cosmos that changed everything. On August 15, 1977, astronomer Jerry Amon was reviewing data from the Big Ear radio telescope at Ohio State University when he encountered something that would become one of the most significant mysteries in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Among the routine cosmic background noise, a powerful radio signal stood out with such clarity and uniqueness that Amon circled it on the computer printout and wrote a single word beside it. Wow. The signal lasted for exactly 72 seconds, and came from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius. What made it so remarkable was not just its strength, but its frequency. The signal was detected at 1420 megahertz, which corresponds to the emission frequency of neutral hydrogen, the most abundant element in the universe. Many scientists believe that any intelligent extraterrestrial civilization attempting to communicate across the cosmos would logically choose this frequency, as it would be universally recognized by any technologically advanced species. The signal's characteristics were unlike anything seen before or since. It showed all the hallmarks of originating from deep space rather than from Earth or our solar system. The signal's intensity rose and fell in a pattern consistent with the rotation of the Earth and the movement of the radio telescope, exactly as would be expected from a fixed point in space. This ruled out satellites, aircraft, or other terrestrial sources of interference. In the decades since the WOW signal was detected, astronomers have repeatedly pointed radio telescopes toward the same region of space, hoping to detect the signal again. Despite hundreds of hours of observation using increasingly sophisticated equipment, the signal has never been repeated. This single occurrence makes it impossible to study further or verify its origin, leaving it as one of the most tantalizing pieces of evidence in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Various explanations have been proposed over the years. Some suggest it could have been caused by a passing comet, though this theory has been disputed by other researchers who point out significant problems with the comet hypothesis. Others propose it might have been caused by some unknown natural phenomenon, or even by classified military activity. However, none of these explanations fully the characteristics account for all of the signal. The disappearance of Flight MH370, a vanishing that defies modern technology, on March 8, 2014. Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 departed from Kuala Lumpur International Airport bound for Beijing with 239 people on board. Less than an hour into the flight, the aircraft disappeared from radar screens, beginning one of the most extensive and expensive search operations in aviation history. Despite the deployment of cutting-edge technology and international cooperation on an unprecedented scale, the main wreckage of MH370 has never been located. The circumstances surrounding the disappearance are deeply puzzling. Military radar data revealed that after losing contact with air traffic control, the aircraft deviated dramatically from its planned flight path, turning back toward the Malay Peninsula and then heading southwest across the Indian Ocean. The plane's communication systems appeared to have been deliberately disabled, and the aircraft continued flying for several more hours before finally disappearing completely. Satellite data provided crucial clues about the aircraft's final hours. A series of automated signals known as handshakes were exchanged between the aircraft and a satellite, allowing investigators to narrow down the search area to a remote section of the southern Indian Ocean. However, this area covers thousands of square miles of some of the deepest and most treacherous waters on Earth. The search effort involved ships and aircraft from multiple countries, underwater autonomous vehicles, and deep-sea submersibles. Teams scoured an area larger than the size of England, mapping the ocean floor in unprecedented detail. While the search did lead to the discovery of previously unknown shipwrecks and valuable oceanographic data, the main wreckage of MH370 remained elusive. Over the years, several pieces of debris confirmed to be from MH370 have washed up on shores thousands of miles away. From Reunion Island in the Indian Ocean to the coast of Mozambique, these fragments provided confirmation that the aircraft had indeed crashed into the ocean. But they offered few clues about what actually happened during those final hours of flight. The mystery of MH370 raises profound questions about aviation safety and the limitations of our surveillance technology. In an age when we can track a smartphone anywhere on Earth, the fact that a massive commercial aircraft can simply vanish seems almost impossible. Various theories have been proposed, ranging from mechanical failure and pilot error to hijacking and even more exotic explanations involving cyber warfare or deliberate acts by the flight crew. The Antikythera mechanism, ancient technology that shouldn't exist. In 1901, sponge divers working off the Greek island of Antikythera made a discovery that would challenge our understanding of ancient technology and human achievement. Among the artifacts recovered from a Roman shipwreck dating to around 70 BC was a corroded bronze object that initially appeared to be nothing more than ancient debris. However, closer examination revealed gears, dials, and inscriptions that suggested something far more sophisticated. For decades, the Antikythera mechanism remained a puzzle. Early researchers recognized it as some form of mechanical device, but its true purpose and the extent of its sophistication were not fully understood until the advent of modern imaging technology. X-ray tomography and high-resolution photography finally revealed the mechanism's internal structure, showing a complex system of at least 37 intermeshing bronze gears. The mechanism is now understood to be an ancient analog computer designed to predict the positions of the sun, moon, and planets, as well as to calculate the timing of eclipses and other astronomical events. Its level of mechanical complexity and precision was not seen again in human technology until the development of astronomical clocks in medieval times Europe, more than 1,000 years later. What makes the Antikythera mechanism so remarkable is not just its technological sophistication, but what it reveals about the scientific knowledge of ancient civilizations. The device demonstrates a deep understanding of astronomy, mathematics, and mechanical engineering that far exceeds what historians previously believed was possible for that time period. The precision of its gears and the accuracy of its calculations suggest that its creators possessed knowledge that we are only now beginning to fully appreciate. The mechanism challenges our assumptions about the linear progression of human technology and knowledge. It suggests that ancient civilizations may have achieved levels of scientific and technological advancement that were subsequently lost, only to be rediscovered centuries or millennia later. This raises questions about what other achievements of ancient peoples might be waiting to be uncovered, and whether our understanding of human history needs to be fundamentally revised. The bloop, a sound from the depths that defied explanation. In 1997, hydrophones placed throughout the Pacific Ocean by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration detected an extremely powerful, ultra-low frequency sound that would become known as the bloop. The sound was so loud that it was detected by sensors separated by thousands of miles, suggesting a source of enormous size and power located somewhere in the remote waters of the South Pacific. The bloop lasted for just over 1 minute, but its characteristics were unlike anything previously recorded in the ocean. The sound showed a rapid rise in frequency over time, creating a pattern that acoustic experts found both fascinating and mysterious. What made the detection even more intriguing was its location. Roughly 1,500 miles west of the southern tip of South America, in one of the most isolated and least explored regions of the world's oceans. Initially, scientists struggled to identify any known source that could produce such a powerful sound. The frequency and pattern ruled out most geological phenomena like earthquakes or underwater volcanic activity. The sound was far too large to have been produced by any known marine animal, even the largest whales. Some researchers speculated about unknown species of massive sea creatures, while others proposed more exotic explanations involving underwater landslides or the calving of enormous icebergs. The mystery of the bloop captured public imagination and spawned countless theories ranging from undiscovered marine life to underwater alien bases. The scientific community approached the phenomenon with characteristic caution, focusing on gathering more data and analyzing the acoustic properties of the sound in detail. It wasn't until 2005 that researchers finally identified the likely source of the bloop. Additional analysis and comparison with other acoustic data suggested that the sound was caused by a massive ice quake, the cracking and movement of large ice formations in Antarctica. This explanation accounted for both the power of the sound and its unique acoustic signature. However, even with this explanation, the bloop remains a reminder of how much we still don't know about our planet and the powerful forces at work in its most remote regions. The Oak Island Money Pit, a treasure hunt spanning centuries. For more than 2 centuries, Oak Island, a small island off the coast of Nova Scotia, Canada, has been the site of one of the world's most persistent treasure hunts. The mystery began in 1795, when a teenager named Daniel McGinnis discovered a circular depression in the ground beneath an oak tree, along with evidence of previous digging. This discovery would launch a quest that has consumed the lives and fortunes of countless treasure hunters. Early excavations revealed a sophisticated shaft lined with wooden platforms at regular intervals. As diggers descended deeper, they encountered layers of clay, charcoal, and coconut fiber, materials that would have required considerable effort to transport to the island. At 90 feet, they reportedly discovered a stone tablet with mysterious inscriptions that some claim translated to 40 feet below. 2 million pounds lie buried. The deeper the excavations went, the more complex the mystery became. The shaft appeared to be protected by an ingenious flood trap system that channeled seawater from the nearby beach into the pit whenever diggers reached certain depths. This flooding mechanism has thwarted numerous excavation attempts over the centuries, leading to speculation about the advanced engineering knowledge of whoever originally constructed the pit. Over the years, various artifacts have been discovered on Oak Island, including pieces of parchment, lead cross pendants, and metal fragments. Each discovery has fueled new theories about what might be buried there and who was responsible for its concealment. Theories range from pirate treasure and religious artifacts to lost manuscripts and even the Holy Grail itself. The Oak Island mystery has attracted everyone from casual treasure hunters to sophisticated engineering teams equipped with the latest technology. Despite millions of dollars spent and countless hours of excavation, the original treasure, if it exists, has never been found. The island continues to yield tantalizing clues that keep the mystery alive, ensuring that new generations of treasure hunters will continue the search. The Zodiac Killer, a phantom who taunted an entire nation. Between 1968 and 1969, the San Francisco Bay Area was gripped by fear as a serial killer emerged who would become one of America's most notorious unsolved cases. The Zodiac Killer, as he came to be known, murdered at least 5 people and claimed responsibility for 37 deaths, though investigators have never been able to confirm the higher number. What set this killer apart from others was not just the brutality of the crimes, but his deliberate campaign to terrorize the public through cryptic letters and phone calls to newspapers and police. The killer's first confirmed attack occurred on December 20th, 1968, when 2 teenagers were shot while parked at a remote location in Vallejo, California. The attack seemed random with no apparent motive beyond violence itself. 6 months later, another couple was attacked at Blue Rock Springs Park, and this time the killer made a phone call to police, calmly reporting the crime and providing details that only the perpetrator could have known. What truly captured public attention were the letters that began arriving at local newspapers in July 1969. The killer sent identical copies to 3 different papers, each containing a portion of a cryptographic cipher that he claimed would reveal his identity when solved. The letters were signed with a symbol that would become his trademark, a circle with a cross through it, resembling a gun sight or zodiac symbol. In these communications, the killer threatened to go on killing sprees if his letters were not published on the front pages of the newspapers. The ciphers became a national obsession, with amateur and professional code breakers working tirelessly to decode the killer's messages. The first cipher was solved within a week by a high school teacher and his wife, revealing a rambling message in which the killer claimed that murdering people was providing him with slaves for the afterlife. However, subsequent ciphers proved far more challenging, with some remaining unsolved to this day despite decades of analysis by the world's leading cryptographers. The Zodiac Killer demonstrated an intimate knowledge of police procedures and seemed to take pleasure in staying one step ahead of law enforcement. He would call in tips about his own crimes, provide evidence that only the killer could possess, and even showed up at crime scenes after police had left to collect shell casings as souvenirs. The killer appeared to be highly intelligent and methodical, carefully planning each attack and communication to maximize psychological impact. Despite one of the largest investigations in California history involving hundreds of suspects and thousands of tips, the Zodiac Killer was never captured. The case has inspired countless books, documentaries, and films, each proposing new theories about the killer's identity. Advanced DNA analysis of evidence from the crime scenes has provided new hope in recent years, but definitive identification remains elusive. The Dyatlov Pass incident, 9 deaths that make no sense. In January 1959, a group of 9 experienced hikers set out on a challenging winter expedition in the Ural Mountains of Russia. Led by Igor Dyatlov, the group planned to reach Otorten Mountain, a journey that should have taken about 3 weeks. When the hikers failed to return on schedule, search and rescue teams were dispatched to find them. What they discovered would become one of the most baffling mysteries of the 20th century. The searchers found the group's abandoned tent on the slopes of what is now known as Dyatlov Pass. The tent had been cut open from the inside, and footprints in the snow showed that the hikers had fled into the frigid wilderness wearing only socks or barefoot, leaving behind their warm clothing and essential survival gear. The scene suggested a sudden, desperate escape from something terrifying enough to drive experienced mountaineers into the deadly cold. The bodies were found scattered across the landscape over the following weeks. Some were discovered relatively close to the tent, apparently having died from hypothermia as they tried to return to their shelter. Others were found much farther away, and their injuries told a more disturbing story. 3 of the hikers had suffered severe internal trauma, including fractured ribs and skull damage, injuries so severe that the investigating pathologist compared them to those caused by a car crash. Most puzzling of all was the condition of some of the bodies. 2 hikers were found with their eyes missing, and 1 was missing her tongue and part of her jaw. These injuries occurred before death, but there were no external wounds to explain how they had happened. Additionally, some of the clothing recovered from the scene showed elevated levels of radiation, though the source and significance of this contamination remain unclear. The official Soviet investigation concluded that the deaths were caused by an unknown compelling force, a vague determination that satisfied no one and only deepened the mystery. The case files were classified for decades, fueling speculation about government cover-ups and secret military activities in the area. Various theories have been proposed over the years, including avalanches, animal attacks, infrasound phenomena, and even UFO encounters. Recent investigations using modern forensic techniques have provided some new insights, but many questions remain unanswered. The combination of the hikers' bizarre behavior, their severe injuries, and the mysterious circumstances surrounding their deaths continues to defy rational explanation. The Dyatlov Pass incident remains a stark reminder that even in our modern world, there are events that challenge our understanding of what is possible. The dancing plague of 1518, when an entire city lost control. In July 1518, the city of Strasbourg witnessed one of history's most bizarre and inexplicable events. It began when a woman known as Frau Trophäa stepped into the street and began dancing with wild, uncontrollable movements. She danced continuously for hours, apparently unable to stop, and her frenzied movements attracted the attention of curious onlookers. What started as a single person's strange behavior would soon engulf the entire city in madness. Within a week, dozens of people had joined Frau Trophäa in her relentless dancing. The dancers moved with desperate intensity, their bodies contorting and spinning in ways that seemed both exhausting and involuntary. They showed no signs of joy or celebration, instead appearing to be trapped in a nightmare of perpetual motion. Witnesses described their faces as showing terror and exhaustion, as though they were fighting against their own bodies but could not regain control. As the days passed, the phenomenon spread like wildfire through the city. By the end of the month, an estimated 400 people were dancing in the streets, unable to stop despite their obvious distress and physical deterioration. Many of the dancers collapsed from exhaustion, and historical records suggest that several may have died from heart attacks, strokes, or sheer physical exhaustion brought on by their uncontrollable movements. The local authorities and physicians were completely baffled by the outbreak. Some believed the dancing was caused by supernatural forces or divine punishment, while others sought medical explanations for the phenomenon. In a decision that seems counterintuitive today, city officials actually encouraged the dancing, believing that the dancers needed to dance it out of their systems. They hired professional musicians and built wooden stages, thinking that organized dancing would cure the affliction. Medical experts have proposed various theories to explain the dancing plague of 1518. Some suggest it was a form of mass hysteria brought on by stress, superstition, and the power of suggestion. The early 16th century was a time of great hardship in Strasbourg, with famine, disease, and social upheaval creating conditions ripe for psychological breakdown. Others propose that the dancers may have consumed ergot-contaminated grain, which can cause hallucinations and involuntary muscle spasms. However, none of these explanations fully account for the scale, duration, and specific characteristics of the outbreak. The dancing plague remains one of history's most mysterious mass phenomena, a reminder that human behavior can sometimes defy all attempts at rational explanation. Similar outbreaks of uncontrollable dancing were reported in other European cities during the medieval period, suggesting that whatever caused these events was not unique to Strasbourg. The Bermuda Triangle, where ships and planes vanish without explanation. Few mysteries have captured the public imagination quite like the Bermuda Triangle, a roughly triangular area of the Atlantic Ocean bounded by Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. This region has become synonymous with unexplained disappearances, strange phenomena, and theories that challenge our understanding of the natural world. Over the decades, numerous ships and aircraft have reportedly vanished without trace while traversing this stretch of ocean, often under conditions that should have posed no danger to experienced mariners and pilots. The mystery gained widespread attention with the disappearance of Flight 19, a group of 5 Navy bombers that vanished during a training mission in December 1945. The aircraft were flying a routine navigation exercise when they reportedly became disoriented and lost radio contact. The last transmissions from the flight leader indicated that both his compass and backup compass had malfunctioned, leaving the pilots unable to determine their location or heading. A rescue aircraft sent to find Flight 19 also disappeared, and despite extensive search efforts, no trace of any of the 6 aircraft was ever found. This incident was followed by numerous other reported disappearances in the same general area. Commercial and military vessels, private yachts, and aircraft of various types have allegedly vanished under circumstances that defy conventional explanation. In many cases, the weather was calm, the vessels were in good mechanical condition, and the crews were experienced. Yet they simply disappeared, often without sending distress signals or leaving any debris behind. What makes these disappearances particularly puzzling is the complete absence of wreckage or survivors in most cases. The Atlantic Ocean in this region is heavily trafficked and relatively well monitored, making it unusual for large vessels or aircraft to vanish so completely. Some disappearances have occurred in areas where the water is shallow enough that wreckage should be easily located, yet search teams have found nothing. Skeptics point out that the Bermuda Triangle sees heavy maritime and aviation traffic, making some accidents statistically inevitable. They argue that the number of disappearances in the area is not significantly higher than in other heavily traveled ocean regions, and that many of the reported incidents have been exaggerated or misrepresented. Weather patterns in the area, including sudden storms and the Gulf Stream current, can create dangerous conditions that might account for some accidents. However, believers in the Bermuda Triangle mystery point to cases where standard explanations seem inadequate. They cite instances of compass malfunctions, electronic equipment failures, and other anomalies that suggest something unusual about the area itself. Various theories have been proposed, ranging from magnetic anomalies and underwater methane gas eruptions to more exotic explanations involving time warps, alien activity, and lost civilizations. The Phoenix Lights, when an entire city witnessed the impossible on the evening of March 13, 1997. Thousands of residents across Arizona witnessed one of the most widely observed UFO events in modern history. The Phoenix Lights, as the incident came to be known, involved multiple sightings of unusual aerial phenomena that defied conventional explanation and sparked debates that continue to this day. The first reports came from the northwest part of the state, where witnesses described seeing a massive V-shaped formation of lights moving silently across the sky. The object appeared to be enormous, with some witnesses estimating its wingspan at over a mile wide. As the evening progressed, similar sightings were reported throughout Arizona, with the phenomenon eventually appearing over the densely populated Phoenix metropolitan area. What made this sighting particularly compelling was the sheer number of witnesses and the consistency of their reports. People from all walks of life, including police officers, pilots, and government officials, reported seeing the same basic phenomenon. The witnesses described a large, dark object with a series of bright lights arranged in a V or boomerang pattern. The object moved slowly and silently, displaying flight characteristics unlike any known aircraft. Video footage and photographs captured during the event show a series of bright lights maintaining a fixed formation as they moved across the sky. The lights appeared to dim and brighten in sequence, and the entire formation maintained perfect geometric spacing throughout its flight. Multiple witnesses reported that the object passed directly overhead, appearing to block out stars as it moved across the night sky. Military officials initially dismissed the sightings as flares dropped during a training exercise at the Barry Goldwater Range. But this explanation failed to satisfy many witnesses and investigators. The flares theory could not account for the earlier sightings of the massive V-shaped craft, which occurred hours before any military exercise. Furthermore, the behavior and appearance of the lights differed significantly from typical military flares, which burn out quickly and fall to Earth under parachutes. Independent analysis of the video evidence revealed anomalies that challenged the official explanation. The lights appeared to maintain altitude and formation far longer than flares should have been capable of, and their movement patterns suggested controlled flight rather than the passive drift expected from falling illumination devices. Some footage showed the lights disappearing behind mountain ranges and reappearing on the other side, indicating that whatever was producing them was at considerable altitude and distance. The Phoenix Lights incident raised questions about government transparency and the investigation of unexplained aerial phenomena. Despite the massive number of witnesses and the quality of evidence collected, no comprehensive official investigation was conducted. This lack of response fueled speculation about cover-ups and hidden knowledge within military and government agencies. The Hessdalen Lights, Norway's enduring enigma. In the remote Hessdalen Valley of Norway, a phenomenon has been occurring with remarkable consistency since the early 1980s. Strange lights appear in the sky above this sparsely populated rural area, displaying behaviors that have baffled scientists and attracted researchers from around the world. Unlike many unexplained phenomena that occur sporadically or in isolated incidents, the Hessdalen Lights have been observed and documented thousands of times over several decades. The lights manifest in various forms and colors, from bright white orbs to multicolored displays that pulse and change intensity. Some appear as single points of light that hover motionless for hours, while others move at incredible speeds, making sharp turns and sudden stops that would be impossible for any known aircraft. The lights have been observed at different altitudes, from just above ground level to high in the atmosphere, and they can appear during both day and night, though they are most commonly seen after dark. What sets the Hessdalen phenomenon apart is the scientific approach taken to study it. In 1984, researchers established the Hessdalen Project, a systematic effort to observe, record, and analyze the mysterious lights. The project deployed sophisticated monitoring equipment throughout the valley, including cameras, radar systems, and spectrum analyzers. This scientific infrastructure has captured thousands of hours of data, providing researchers with unprecedented documentation of an unexplained phenomenon. The data collected has revealed intriguing patterns and characteristics of the lights. Spectral analysis has shown that the phenomena emit specific wavelengths of light, including some that are not typically associated with known natural or artificial light sources. Radar tracking has confirmed that the lights often correspond to solid objects that reflect radio waves, ruling out simple optical illusions or atmospheric phenomena. Temperature measurements have detected heat signatures associated with some of the light displays, suggesting actual physical phenomena rather than purely electromagnetic effects. Despite decades of study and volumes of scientific data, researchers have been unable to determine the exact nature or cause of the Hessdalen lights. Various theories have been proposed, including unusual geological activity that generates electromagnetic fields, Unknown atmospheric phenomena related to the valley's unique geography, and even the possibility of some form of previously undiscovered energy phenomenon. The Marfa Lights of Texas, dancing spirits in the desert. In the vast expanse of West Texas near the small town of Marfa, mysterious lights have been appearing in the night sky for well over a century. These unexplained phenomena, known as the Marfa Lights, have been witnessed by thousands of people and have become one of America's most enduring unexplained mysteries. The lights appear as glowing orbs that dance, split apart, merge together, and perform aerial maneuvers that seem to defy the laws of physics. Witnesses describe the lights as appearing suddenly in the desert landscape, typically after sunset when the sky begins to darken. They manifest as bright, colorful spheres that can be white, yellow, red, or blue in appearance. The lights often appear to move with intelligence, responding to observers or performing coordinated movements that suggest some form of conscious control. Some witnesses report that the lights seem to react to flashlights or vehicle headlights, mimicking the patterns or intensities of artificial illumination. The behavior of the Marfa Lights has been documented in numerous photographs and video recordings over the years. The lights have been observed splitting into multiple smaller orbs, which then move independently before rejoining into a single entity. They can appear to dance in formation, maintaining precise spacing and synchronized movements that would challenge even skilled human pilots. The lights have been seen to accelerate rapidly, make sharp 90-degree turns, and hover motionless for extended periods. Local Native American tribes have legends about the lights that predate modern settlement of the area by centuries. These traditional stories describe spiritual entities that inhabit the desert and manifest as dancing lights in the darkness. Early settlers and ranchers also reported seeing the mysterious illuminations, often describing them as ghostly or supernatural phenomena that defied rational explanation. Scientific expeditions have attempted to study the Marfa Lights using various instruments and methodologies. Some researchers have proposed that the lights are caused by atmospheric refraction, where distant car headlights or other light sources are bent and distorted by temperature inversions in the desert air. However, this explanation fails to account for historical sightings that occurred before the advent of automobiles, as well as the complex behaviors and movements exhibited by the phenomena. The Paulding Light, Michigan's glowing guardian. Deep in the forests of Michigan's Upper Peninsula, along a remote stretch of old railroad tracks, a mysterious light has been appearing for more than 40 years. Known as the Paulding Light, this phenomenon attracts thousands of visitors annually who come hoping to witness the unexplained illumination that appears to travel along the abandoned railway corridor. The light has become so famous that local authorities have designated an official viewing area where visitors can park safely and observe the phenomenon. The light typically appears as a bright white or yellowish orb that seems to emerge from the darkness of the forest. Witnesses describe it as moving along the old railroad tracks in intensity from a dim glow barely into the woods. The light can vary, sometimes appearing to approach observers before retreating back, visible in the darkness to a brilliant illumination that lights up the surrounding forest. Some observers report that the light appears to pulse or flicker, while others describe it as maintaining a steady glow throughout its appearance. What makes the Paulding light particularly intriguing is its apparent intelligence and responsiveness to observers. Many witnesses report that the light seems to react to their presence, growing brighter when people gather to watch it or dimming when observers attempt to approach. Some visitors have reported that shining flashlights or car headlights toward the phenomenon causes it to respond with changes in brightness or movement patterns, as though it is aware of and reacting to human activity. Local folklore attributes the light to the ghost of a railroad worker who was killed in an accident along the tracks decades ago. According to legend, the spirit continues to patrol the railway line, carrying a lantern as he walks his eternal beat. This supernatural explanation has deep roots in the community, and many longtime residents accept the ghostly origin as fact rather than speculation. However, skeptical investigators have proposed more conventional explanations for the phenomenon. Some suggest that the light is caused by car headlights from a distant highway that are refracted through atmospheric conditions and appear to be moving along the railroad tracks. Others propose that swamp gas or other natural emissions from the marshy terrain might create the glowing effect observed by visitors. The Devil's Triangle of Alaska, where aircraft vanish without trace. Alaska's vast wilderness has claimed more aircraft than any other state in America. But there is one area that stands out for its disproportionate number of unexplained disappearances. Known informally as Alaska's Triangle or the Devil's Triangle, this region stretches between Anchorage, Juneau, and Utqiagvik, encompassing some of the most remote and challenging terrain on the continent. Within this triangle, more than 16,000 people have vanished without trace over the past several decades, including entire aircraft that have disappeared completely despite extensive search and rescue efforts. The disappearances in Alaska's Triangle differ from typical aviation accidents in several disturbing ways. Many of the vanished aircraft were operated by experienced pilots familiar with Alaska's challenging flying conditions, and they disappeared during routine flights in relatively good weather. Search and rescue operations that should have easily located crash sites have found no trace of wreckage despite covering vast areas with aircraft ground teams and sophisticated detection equipment. One of the most puzzling aspects of these disappearances is the complete absence of distress calls or emergency transmissions in many cases. Modern aircraft are equipped with multiple communication systems and emergency beacons that should activate automatically in the event of a crash or emergency landing. Yet many of the missing aircraft simply vanished from radar screens without any indication of trouble, as though they had been erased from existence in an instant. The terrain within Alaska's Triangle is undeniably challenging, with towering mountain ranges, vast glacial fields, and extreme weather conditions that can change rapidly without warning. However, these factors alone cannot account for the sheer number of disappearances or the complete absence of wreckage in so many cases. Professional search and rescue teams, who are among the most skilled in the world at locating crash sites in difficult terrain, have been repeatedly baffled by their inability to find any trace of the missing aircraft. Some researchers have proposed that the region's unique geography and magnetic properties might contribute to the disappearances. Alaska sits near the magnetic North Pole, and compass readings can be unreliable in certain areas. Additionally, the aurora borealis and other electromagnetic phenomena associated with the polar regions might interfere with navigation and communication equipment. However, modern GPS systems should be largely immune to these effects, making navigation-based explanations less convincing for recent disappearances. The Max Headroom broadcast intrusion, when television itself was hijacked. On the evening of November 22, 1987, television viewers in Chicago witnessed one of the most bizarre and unsettling incidents in broadcasting history. During primetime programming, two separate television stations had their signals hijacked by an unknown individual wearing a Max Headroom mask, who broadcast a surreal and disturbing message that lasted for several minutes. The incident, known as the Max Headroom broadcast intrusion, remains one of the most sophisticated and mysterious acts of media piracy ever recorded. The intrusion began at 9:14 p.m. during the evening news on WGN-TV. The station's signal was suddenly replaced by the image of someone wearing a Max Headroom mask, the rubber caricature of a 1980s computer-generated television host character. The figure appeared against a rotating corrugated metal background, swaying back and forth in an erratic, unsettling manner. However, this first intrusion lasted only about 25 seconds before engineers were able to regain control of the signal. The second and more extensive intrusion occurred 2 hours later during a broadcast of Doctor Who on WTTW, Chicago's PBS station. This time, the hijacker's transmission lasted for approximately 90 seconds and included audio as well as video. The masked figure delivered a rambling, nonsensical monologue that included references to various television personalities, bizarre sound effects, and disturbing imagery. The broadcast ended with the figure being spanked with a fly swatter while moaning, creating a deeply unsettling conclusion to an already strange event. What made the Max Headroom incident so remarkable was the technical sophistication required to execute such an intrusion. In 1987, television broadcasting was a highly controlled and secure industry, with multiple layers of protection against signal interference. To successfully override two separate television stations' signals would have required extensive knowledge of broadcast engineering, expensive specialized equipment, and precise timing. The fact that the perpetrator was able to accomplish this twice in one evening with different stations using different transmission systems suggested a level of technical expertise that few individuals possessed. Despite extensive investigation by the Federal Communications Commission, the FBI, and local law enforcement agencies, the identity of the Max Headroom hijacker was never determined. The case remains one of the FCC's most significant unsolved investigations, representing a unique breach of broadcast security that exposed vulnerabilities in the television infrastructure that most people never knew existed. Investigation into the broadcast. The intrusion revealed troubling implications about the security of America's communication infrastructure. The hijacker had demonstrated that, With sufficient knowledge and equipment, it was possible to commandeer television signals reaching hundreds of thousands of viewers. This raised concerns about potential attacks on emergency broadcast systems or the manipulation of news programming during critical events. The technical analysis of the intrusion provided clues about the perpetrator's identity, defy. The equipment used to generate the signal override would have been expensive and difficult to obtain, suggesting that the hijacker either had access to professional broadcasting facilities or had invested considerable resources in acquiring the necessary gear. The locations from which the signals were transmitted were never extensive efforts definitively identified. Despite to triangulate the source, the Tunguska event, a Natanda forest explosion that fell on the morning of June 30th, 1908, a massive explosion occurred over the remote Tunguska region of Siberia that released energy equivalent to 10 to 15 million tons of TNT. The blast flattened an estimated 80 million trees across more than 2,000 square kilometers, creating a devastation zone larger than many major cities. Despite the enormous scale of destruction, the cause of the Tunguska event remains one of science's greatest unsolved mysteries. Witnesses located hundreds of kilometers from the explosion reported seeing a brilliant fireball streak across the sky, followed by a sound described as artillery fire or thunder that continued for several minutes. The blast was so powerful that it registered on seismographic instruments across Europe and Asia, and the Earth twice pressure wave cirque. For several nights following the event, the sky across Asia glowed so much of Europe and Western so could read newspapers by the brightly that people's strange luminescence. What makes the Tunguska event particularly puzzling is the complete absence of an impact crater. Despite the enormous energy released and the massive area of destruction, investigators have never found the kind of crater that should have resulted from a meteorite impact of such magnitude. The pattern of fallen trees radiates outward from a central point, suggesting that the explosion occurred in the air impact rather than upon with the ground. The first scientific expedition to the site didn't arrive until 1927, nearly 20 years after the event. Soviet scientist Leonid Kulik expected to find fragments of a massive iron meteorite and possibly valuable deposits of meteoric metal. Instead, he discovered a landscape of fallen trees arranged in a butterfly pattern around the blast and no meteor center, but no craterite fragments. Subsequent expeditions have found microscopic particles that might be of extraterrestrial origin, but nothing that definitively explains the source of the explosion. Various theories have been proposed, ranging from conventional meteorite impacts explain the Tunguska event to more exotic possibilities. Some scientists suggest that a comet, composed primarily of ice and loose rocky material, could have exploded in the atmosphere without leaving substantial physical remains. Others propose that the explosion was caused by a small black hole passing through the Earth, or by the annihilation of antimatter with ordinary matter in the atmosphere. These mysteries remind us that despite all our technological advances and scientific achievements, our world still holds secrets that defy explanation. From unexplained sounds and lights to vanishing aircraft and ancient artifacts, These enigmas challenge our understanding of reality itself. Perhaps some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved, keeping alive our sense of wonder and reminding us that there is still so much we don't know about our extraordinary universe. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the unexplained.